You stand on the corner of the street in the desolate city in the late night. Litter blows by and the air is thick with moisture. You hear movement of large vehicles and low-flying helicopters in the distance. Few people are on the streets, and those you see are running into houses or stores, with few remaining on the warm city streets. Little light emanates from houses or businesses, as if everything in the city has shut down. For such a busy city, where are all of the people? Has the virus killed off so many so fast? You walk several blocks and stop as a sound builds around you. The rumble of large vehicles fills the area, shaking the ground, and a speaker fills the void of silence. Stay inside your houses and lock the doors. Keep your lights off. If you're outside, get to shelter. If you encounter an infected, run and get to safety. Do not engage the affected. Avoid being scratched or bitten at all cost. If someone is bitten, isolate them and restrain them immediately. Gunfire erupts, and you duck for cover behind a parked car. The windows explode, coating your back in shards of glass. The alarm blares out until another round of bullets rips through the car. You check yourself for bullet holes, but find none. The alarm lets out a last fading sound and goes silent. At the intersection of the corner, only 40 feet away, is a procession of military vehicles. Tanks, troops, transports, and jeeps with heavy machine guns mounted on top. The parade of vehicles passes for a full minute, followed by a trail of zombies, who you guess are attracted to the noise. Soldiers cut down the undead stalkers. You wonder if this is a strategy of the National Guard. Round up the dead and destroy as many as possible. In some twisted version of the Pied Piper of Hamelin fairy tale. Before crossing the street, you wait for the military vehicles to leave your sight and take all zombies with them. The corner red light silently holds off traffic, but no cars are moving on the road. Little light shines in the area, save a solitary window from an office building next to where you stand. You sit on the edge of the curb and take a few moments to rest, despite the growing exhaustion, hunger and thirst. Sitting here for an extended length of time is a foolish idea, but you need to take care of yourself before moving on, or you'll never survive to find Emma. I will drink some water. No, I can't. Oh, I didn't collect any of these. I suck. Okay, continue your search for Emma. Brilliant. Out on the street, you do not feel safe. A zombie could easily find you. The roar of motors suggests law enforcement is checking the area. However, you fear getting behind cover could reduce your reception and the chances of the call reaching Emma. Hide in an alleyway to avoid detection. Stand on top of a car. Yeah, let's stand on top of a car. That seems like a smart thing to do, she says sarcastically. You remind yourself that Emma is a top priority, so you climb onto the hood of a silver Lexus on the corner. Good choice. You dial Emma's cell number and receive a busy signal. You try several more times, and finally it starts to ring. Hello? Emma, it's me. Where are you? Bonnie? I can barely hear you. Emma's voice fades and you hear, I can't hear her, but I think it's Bonnie. Emma, can you hear me at all? Where are you? You yell. Bonnie, if you can hear me, I'm at my friend Heather's house. She's on 10th Street and Holland Avenue. 1027 Holland. I'm not American, I don't know how to pronounce these things. If you can hear me, meet me there as soon as you can. Be careful, the army is taking everyone off the street. The line goes dead. 10th and Holland is roughly 5 miles away. You have several options for travelling to Emma. Find a car. Absolutely. There is no shortage of cars on the city street. and seeing no traffic makes it a fast method to reach Heather's house. Of course, the military is a huge obstacle, but they are patrolling the streets to enforce curfew and hunt the infected. Directly in front of you are several vehicles. Which ones should you choose? Well, definitely not a convertible. Thinking SUV. Pickup truck could be an idea. Yeah, let's go luxury. An Escalade looks like a great car for security as it raises up off the road and you can see over normal sized cars. In addition, the tinted windows will give you some concealment. You pull the handle but it's locked. You decide to use my multi-tool. You grab for your multi-tool and flip out the screwdriver. You jimmy the lock and pop the door open. You check for the sun visor and under the seat for a key but find nothing. In the glove compartment you find an old candy bar and a pack of cigarettes, which you pocket for later use. To start the car, you'll have to do it manually. Unfortunately, this newer car has a sophisticated system, not allowing a simple hot wiring. You don't have the tools to force the ignition to turn either. Trying another car is the best option at this point. Which car do you choose? Fine. Pickup truck it is. A pickup will provide durability and off-road capability better than any other car around. If you need to haul anything or anyone, you also have that option. You pull the handle, but it's locked. You decide to multi-tool. You grab your multi-tool and flip out the screwdriver. You jimmy the lock and pop the door open. You find the keys that are still in the ignition and almost scream for joy at the luck. Fantastic. You pull and dodge Ram pickup out and start towards Heather's house. From across the street you notice a pack of teens running down the sidewalk and into a 2-story home. You don't see what they're running from but decide not to stick around to find out. The streets are vacant and you drive through the first red light on the corner. You head west and make a turn at the next corner to go north. Up at the next intersection is a military transport vehicle with a dozen or so guards forming a blockade. Assault rifles are pointed in all directions and one soldier is on top of the heavy machine gun. With a heavy machine gun. The entire scene is surreal, straight out of a high-budget urban war movie. The military blockade presents a huge obstacle in your path to reach Emma. Several spotlights cut through the darkness and the soldiers are alert with weapons pointed and covering all angles. As you watch from a distance away, you catch sight of a woman striding towards the blockade. One of the soldiers yells for her to stop, then threatens to shoot. She wobbles about 20 feet from the pack of armed men, misshapen arms to the side, then sprints at the closest soldier who turns and fires. The muzzle flashes bright orange and sends light around her body. Then she stepped in... The muzzle flashes bright orange and sends light around her body like she stepped out in front of an old movie projector. Her body flies backwards and lines of red shoot out the back of her body. You are stunned by the violence of the attack and pure destruction of an assault rifle. Or is she aroused? Wahahaha. You pull the car forward and cut the motor. Cars are not allowed to move north, but that is the direction towards Heather's house. Going through the soldiers is a risky move, but it is the most direct route for your destination. The other option is to detour a few blocks and ride the river road, which will add another 20 minutes to the drive. It also may be guarded by soldiers. Finally, you abandon the car and try the subway. Finally, I abandon the car and try the subway. So it's saying, well, fine, take the subway then. You've already chosen my... Typical. You drive to the next corner and park the car near the subway stop. You head down to the subway stairs, encased in the darkness of the underground. At the bottom is a platform, where numerous dead lie. Some were shot, some have huge claw marks or bites, and others have fallen and been trampled by the pack. Gunshots ring out from below, and as you descend, you see the grisly aftermath of a fight between infected and soldiers. 3 zombies are perched in the southeastern corner, pulling away chunks of flesh from a fallen man. A fire rages on in the eastern side, covering a token booth. Behind metal turnstiles, 2 National Guards in full battle gear have zombies trapped in the subway car. Another group of soldiers lies across the western wall, already the victims of the ghastly zombies. You step down from the platform and attract no attention so far. It's dark, except for some still active floodlights across the top of the subway tunnel. The clamouring of the undead is heard all around. You quickly weigh up a few choices. Let us see. We have check the soldiers. Actually, yeah, let's gear up, because we barely have anything. The soldiers are slumped against the wall in a horrible array. The first is eviscerated. Good word. With a long gash across his midsection and intestines poking through. The second has a large hole in his head exposing skull and brain. The third has no visible signs of death, but is lying back, hands across his assault rifle and his eyes closed. Each man has an M16, full black suit with bulletproof vests and leg pads, helmet with a visor, a sidearm pistol on the waist belt, and night vision goggles. You fear it will take too long to get into a full suit of battle armour, but you can choose an item. Well, it's gotta be the assault rifle. Just saying. When you reach out to take the item, the third soldier points the M16 at you and puts a single finger to his lips. Shh. If they come over here, we're dead. He points to the zombies across the floor eating their victim. My leg is broken. Help me if you can get out of here, and you can take whatever you want. I just need to get to the top and I can radio in my unit. Will you help me? I will help the soldier. You nod and move closer to the soldier. Can you put weight on your leg? You ask. The soldier looks down and shakes his head. You realise that he will need to be carried to safety or must use a splint or a crutch for movement. I should have used my first aid kit. Search for something. Off to the side near the subway stairs is a pile of wood from a broken police barricade. You pick up 2 short yellow pieces and a longer blue plank and carry it back towards the soldier. You strip open the soldier's plant leg. What is up with my speech today? You strip open the soldier's pant leg and uncover a large break in his shin bone, which luckily is not poking through his skin. You take 2 short pieces and place them alongside the broken leg, wrapping torn pieces of his pant leg around and tying them tightly together. From your multi-tool, you take a piece of wire and tie it around the leg and wood to provide extra support. You help the soldier to his feet, put the longer piece of wood under his arm to use as a crutch, and you sling his arm over your shoulder. You support as much of his weight as possible. He winces in pain, but little sound is made, and the zombies do not seem to notice. You carefully climb the stairs, nearly dragging this limping soldier with you. At the top of the stairs, you set him back down. He is flushed and sweating, and you can tell by his face the pain is overwhelming. He thanks you and takes out a radio from his leg pocket. You return to the subway floor and take the M16 and night vision goggles, NVGs, leaving the rest to keep your weight done. You head back to the centre of the subway station. Head to the soldiers at the subway car. Why not? You run forward, jump over the turnstiles and stop 20 feet in front of the subway car. Zombies are inside the stationary car. teeth gnashing at the windows, hands clawing open the doors, while the soldiers struggle to hold them from sliding apart. This is a classic tug of war, with the soldiers slowly losing the battle. Their hands press against the glass and metal doors, and they search for any degree of leverage to hold off the snarling undead. "Hey you! We can't hold this much longer. Grab a gun and shoot them when the doors open." You grab an assault rifle off the ground. Next to the soldiers lie a pair of night vision goggles. "Shoot the zombies as they help, or leave the soldiers, or pretend to help and let the... Why? That's just mean." I think we've already got night vision goggles, haven't we? The doors spring open, and the soldiers fall back. The zombies rush out of the subway doors, and you press the trigger of the M16, letting loose a burst of metal that cuts through the zombies. The weapon shakes in your hands as the rattling sound of bullets flying through the barrel rings out in the tunnels. The zombies flail and twitch from the impact and collide against the side of the subway, peppering the metal wall with brownish blood. The soldiers pick up their weapons and fire into the bodies of the undead, who try to rise even as the bullets tear into their deceased flesh. Smoke fills the area, and the noise of the automatic weapons pounds against your ears. Your weapon empties as the last zombie stops twitching and ceases movement. The other soldiers reload, and you search the ground for a spare magazine. For a spare magazine? I'm sure that's not what I think it means. On your right, a soldier falls fast to the ground as inhuman hands yank him down. You had forgotten the trio of zombies near the subway steps. Oops. But they must have been drawn over by the noise of the weapon fire. You turn to face the zombies and watch as their teeth rend open the screaming soldier's flesh, tearing his arms and neck. A stream of bullets flies past you as the second soldier shoots a zombie in the head, sending him backwards into the concrete subway wall. You drop to your knees and grab a spare bullet clip, steady your assault rifle, and fire into the head of another zombie. The back of his skull bursts open, spilling liquefied brain onto the cold cement floor. The third zombie flashes forwards, tackling the remaining soldier. His hands hold away the zombie's wide-open jaws, but his throat is lacerated by a sharp claw. The zombie raises his head and screeches, then plunges his teeth into the open neck wound. Somehow the soldier screams, spurting blood through the whole of his throat, gurgling out his own fluid. You fire a burst at the zombie whose body flings off the dying soldier and lands hard against the subway wall. Your next shot strikes the creature's forehead which cleaves a chunk away, creating a deeper crater from which a thick jello-like ooze bubbles. The zombie slumps sideways, smearing the wall in a brown mess. Dead soldiers lie around you, and the only sound you hear is the distant dripping of water hitting stone. It's time to move on. You step down into the subway tunnel. It is much colder and darker inside, and the only light is far off in the distant tunnel. The air has a smell of rotten meat, and the buzzing of flies tells you that there is death all around. It will be nearly impossible to travel through the tunnel without seeing, as the way is treacherous. Use your night vision goggles! You place the NVGs over your head and position them across your eyes. You flip the switch and you can see the subway tunnel through hazy green light. The subway tunnel has numerous dead lying about in various stages of infection. Some are still human, some are dark tone in their skin with blemishes indicating virus Zeta, while others are wounded so badly it's difficult to judge the severity of their symptoms. Body parts are scattered about, covered with flies, and the acrid fog smell swells around the area, making it difficult to breathe. You cover your mouth and nose and press on. Wonder if I get infected this way. The tunnel is tall and wide, and you navigate past the bodies and walk alongside the side walls. The journey is slow and you constantly check behind you for movement. Any sound stops you. Sudden sprays of white foggy air from the overhead vent startle you each time. Rats travelling along the subway floor create constant scratching noise echoed through the tunnel chamber. As you walk several hundred feet forward, the dead bodies get sparse until you are free of seeing the putrid corpses. After 30 minutes of walking, you arrive at the stop closest to Heather's house, and you find an emergency exit ladder to ascend to the city above. Heather's house is less than a mile away. In the middle of the run-down residential area of town, from where you stand, you determine the destination is north. In front of you is 4-lane highway, which currently looks like a parking lot with cars stopped at odd angles as far as you can see in both directions. Past the highway is a forested area, and you figure it is the most direct route. The park is fairly empty. Like the rest of the city, you can see as far as head and to all sides, making it ideal for spotting any trouble in any direction. It is extremely dark, but the moon provides enough pale light to see up to 100 feet ahead. You walk for 10 minutes and find a tall kiosk with a map of the area. Plotting a course, the quickest route is through the main forested area, which leads into a children's playground. You start out knowing you have already spent so much time getting this far and need to get to Emma as fast as possible. The path flows into a deep section of the woods with trees close together and bushes, high grass filling in the gaps between. Moonlight weaves through the flora, creating a glow to the forest, but only a dimly lit path. Owls call out atop high branches, and rustling of leaves by wind or woodland creature stirs the quiet. You walk along the lonely winding path for several minutes until you spot a clearing ahead. There lies a large animal and a figure in a ranger suit. Stepping closer, you see the ranger prodding the deer on the ground, its belly gaping open with a dark pool of blood forming below it. You walk closer still, and the ranger reaches into the dead animal and lifts out a thick piece of flesh from its cavity into its midsection. A chewing and slurping sound is evident from the 30 feet away, and blood dribbles down the ranger's hunched body. Obviously attack the ranger. The zombie circles to your right, hands with fingers in shapes of spider legs, its mouth agape with the remnants of its fresh meal. In brown shorts, brown vest, and a wide-brimmed green hat tilted backwards. It is a comical, macabre caricature of what the ranger used to be. Dirt and blood decorate the uniform. You consider your options as the zombie closes in. Assault rifle. You pull out your weapon and prepare to make a short work of the zombie. You raise your assault rifle to aim, and the zombie moves in and grasps the weapon, tossing it to the forest before you can react. The zombie rushes you, smashing into your chest and sending you hard into a tree. You gasp for breath as it wraps its long fingers around your throat. You drive your knee up into its stomach to keep him from closing in. Its mouth salivates and he gnashes sharp rows of angled brown teeth. Hot drool spills out of his mouth. It inches its teeth closer to your face. The zombie's head jerks to the side and a spray of brownish red blood flies in the opposite way. Its hands loosen and its body goes rigid in an instant. It falls sideways into a tree. You see a large hole inside of its head. You look around for any signs of what caused this sudden turn of events. There is no movement in the forest. You inspect the zombie and see the hole in its face is already covered up with the thick brown ooze. You quickly find your weapon, cross over to the deer and continue on the narrow dirt path. It looks like you got a guardian angel, girl. The trek to the playground is smooth and straight, with a well-paved path taking you most of the way. As you approach the actual playground, which has a large wrought iron sign hung 12 feet above the ground in a cartoonish font, you notice numerous footsteps and piles of dirt have hidden the trail, as if a mass exodus marked the impact of 100 running feet. You walk into the playground and see an overturned slide, its blue and white striped ladder broken in half. A jungle gym has a solitary green balloon still tied to its rung, a tiny pink sneaker, a yellow hair ribbon, a box of crayons, a lie scattered about the remnants of children who played here not long ago. You hear a song whispered across the winds. Frère Jacques, dormez-vous, sonne la matine, ding ding dong, ding ding dong. You walk towards the sound of the music. Sitting at the edge of the sandbox is a young girl in yellow and white polka dot dress. Her back is to you, but you hear the sweet song emanating from her. Don't know. You walk up to the child and kneel down next to her. She is playing with a small sunflower, gripping the petals with her tiny fingers, pulling them away, and letting the soft breeze carry them away. Her dress is spotted with dirt, and she has a bumblebee hair clips pinning up her golden curls over her right ear. She stops singing when you're near. Hello, my name is Bonnie. What's your name? You say. She doesn't answer, but stares at the flower. You speak softly and ask. The child stares straight ahead and remains silent. Leaving her here surely means trouble. But you need to get to Emma soon. You consider your options. You reach down and touch the girl's arm. Before your hand touches her, she squirms and pulls away, never once looking up at you. You don't want to forcibly move her, but you're even more concerned of leaving her here. This is not a safe place, you say to her in a calm voice. We have to go now. You offer your hand to her, but she remains motionless. As you reach around to pick her up, she springs up and runs away. Down the dirt-covered path, you run after her, but she is constantly just out of reach. She darts down a small incline behind a trio of closely aligned trees. You are only seconds behind her, but as you turn the corner of the trees, you see no one past it. You call out for several minutes and run in the area, desperately trying to find the child. Panicked, you cover the entire playground and look for any fresh footprints, but find no trace of the little girl. You search for 20 minutes and have no choice but to leave the area and continue through the park. Bloody children. You make it to the edge of the park and cross another road turned parking lot. You scan the area in all directions in case zombies or other hostiles are around. You find a street sign, and luckily you are on the corner of 12th and Holland, so you quicken your pace the last 2 blocks to Heather's house. You find 1027 Holland and a 2-story brick and stone row home in the middle of the city street. You stand at the bottom of its stone porch, and the large bay windows are covered in a thick curtain with no sign shining through. No light shining through. Why don't I read that sign? The upstairs windows, framed in a white siding, give the south side of the home a solitary light cast. Wow! Start again. Sorry. The upstairs windows, framed in a white siding, give the house the look of an angry face peering down on the sidewalk. A narrow alley runs parallel to the south side of the home, and a solitary light casts a dim glow some 30 feet away from the sidewalk where you stand. 2 trees loom from the edge of the curb, towering above the second floor. You walk up the porch, careful to make no sound. You press the lever of the metal screen door and swing it open. A long creak breaks the silence. You stop and listen. Nothing moves inside. You brace the screen door against your shoulder and turn the doorknob. It's locked. Several options come to mind. Pick the lock. No, call Emma's name. That sounds a bit more. You take out your cell phone and dial Emma's phone. You hear several tones as the phone tries to connect. However, you hear a ringing cell phone nearby and realise it's coming through the door. At the window on your left, you see the grey curtains moving and then hear the sound of a deadbolt sliding. Following the clicking of several locks, the door opens. Emma stands in front of you. Yeah, guys, I made it. Oh yeah. She reaches out, grabs your shirt and yanks you inside the house. The door slams behind and arms wrap around you from both sides. You pull away and see another woman, taller than Emma, with sandy brown hair tied in a ponytail, fashionably dressed for the apocalypse, in a green and pink camouflage print sweatsuit and rifle slung over her shoulder. She has a bounce to her step and pulls away to relock the door. Bonnie, this is Heather. You smile and say hello. Heather throws you a sideways smile as Emma leads you into a kitchen area. Stacks of containers, boxes and packages lie about. Emma pops open the refrigerator and rearranges shelves of food. She looks thin in tight jeans and grey jersey. Her sleeves are rolled up and the skin underneath is blotchy and scratched. Oh. Gay. You have so many questions for Emma. What do you ask? Are you hurt? No, just a bit roughed up. We had some looters try to break in, but Heather is a hell of a shot. She just scared them off. We're not trying to add to zombies out there, Emma says. What do you ask? Have you run across any zombies? We saw a few running outside, but we have the lights off and the doors locked. You step back and sit down on one of the chairs. It is the first time you have sat down to rest in several hours. Your legs ache and throb. You pick up a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and munch on it. Heather brings a laptop into the room. The internet's slow, but things are still working. Apparently the infection is out of control, and the government are just trying to contain the large chunks of zombies in the cities. Which sucks for us. Outside the city there are fewer people and infection is much less. Plus wackos outside the city are just popping heads off of the dead and keeping the numbers down. The big concern though is that all the essential utilities will go down. Electricity, water, gas. Then people will be forced to go out into the streets for food, drugs, the good drugs like insulin and antibiotics. Death will go up, and as will the zombie number. Emma cuts in. She always talks fast. Some on the net are saying that the military will set up borders around major cities and not let anyone in or out. Then we'll just have to wait and survive. Wait for what? You ask. Heather perks up. Zombies need to eat just like humans. If they are deprived of food for a week, they die just like humans. Real death, not fake zombie death. Listen, Bonnie, Heather's brother has a group of friends who are preparing to leave the city, Emma says. If we stay in the city, our chances are slim. If we leave and get to Tom's group, we have a better chance of living. We're all tired. Let's get some rest and figure out what to do in the morning, you say. Then we need to meet with her brother.